Hello, I'm Melissa Romero, and I'm doing a project on interpersonal communication. Being open and receptive is important because the conversation is the relationship. For the introduction, listening is more than just the physical act of receiving sound waves in the ears. It is also an act of the mind perceiving the message of the brain that the brain receives, and the heart being able to be open to the message that was sent by the speaker. This is all about communicating and connecting in relationships. By Peterson, 2007, page 18. In fact, the communication is often thought of as being the relationship. This is according to Stewart, 2012, page 56. Next slide. Introduction continued. Miscommunication often results or starts because of the flat brain syndrome. What is the flat brain syndrome? Our stomachs, which are the seat of emotions, expand with an overload of emotion that sets off a cascade of events which include the heart pressing like a brick in our chest, causing our relating abilities to go south. Communication can be improved if we are just willing to work on it. And I really believe this is true. The next slide. My background and interpersonal communication desires. I'm a single woman with my baby, a little cat. Her name is Baby. And I have a wonderful brother and mother. Sadly, my beloved father died of cancer 15 years ago. And he was so proud of me because this is the same time that I was employed by the police department as a crime analyst. And since he was a policeman himself, he was very proud of me. And to him, the most important thing was the power of a good education. And he encouraged me to get the best education I could get. And that is why I have a Master's of Science in Criminal Justice, and I'm now pursuing a Master's of Arts in Human Services, Marriage, and Family. What I really want to do is to have better interpersonal communication in order to have better relationships with people. And in that way, I can serve them better for the good and glory of God. I believe that God has placed me here for a good purpose. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Turn the page. My barriers to communication. My dear brothers and sisters, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. My barriers include forming judgments prematurely, reacting defensively, and these tendencies, unfortunately, often lead to being flat-brained. Also, I need to incorporate more emotions and heart into conversations. Turn the page. Examples of barriers. Belinda, my friend from work, says, "Why don't you eat lunch with us today?" "I didn't have time," I said. She says, "You could have made time." What I should have said was, "I would have loved to eat with you, but I just didn't have the time." It is important in my faith journey to be more relational, more loving, and also being more humble. The resources I can use to improve include the class materials, feedback from other students, and the instructor, Dr. Rita Smith, and of course through all the experiences I've gained in my life with other people. The next slide. My overarching goal. To improve my communication by knowing my strengths and weaknesses and using them to further my interpersonal communication skills. The most important part of the process and the beginning of the process is to really care about and listen to others. However, first knowing about my behavior blend is important because one must know thyself before one can know others. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. This is from Proverbs 14:8. Next slide, my behavioral blend. Behavioral blends are combinations of 4 different personality types based on the 4 disc personality types by Carbonell. I am a DSC, or competent steady doer. This means that I rely on my competency as a primary means of getting along in life. And I am also steady and reliable, dependable. But what I need to work on is being more relational, being more charismatic, and showing what I can do, not being afraid to go out there and really shine. And one of the ways I can do this is by practicing my oral presentation skills. Next slide. We must build identity in conversations and remember that identities are not made up just of ourselves, but they also involve other people. No man is an island entire of itself. This is from John Donne. Selves are responding, identities are developing in relationships, both past and present, from Stewart's. Relationships are very important in life. Next slide. An example of ascribing identity. We often ascribe identities to others that we don't know a lot about based on stereotypes. I try to do this, not to do this, and I'm pretty good at not doing this, but it's good to know about this. An example in a film was a girl that stereotyped another girl because she was an Iraqi. And in the end, Aliyah pointed out that all Iraqi women are not the same. And she's a Christian woman, so she doesn't have to wear a scarf. And the next slide. As a type C critical type, I need to be open-minded and avoid ascribing identities. Instead, I must let people's identities reveal themselves to me. Next slide. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling are colorful physical metaphors used in communication, using to break down or organize, aid in continuous, changing, multidimensional process called communication. We should be aware that perception is an active process, and it's very important once we taking in inhaling information. Turn the page. Strong feelings may cause frustration and keep people from hearing the message. Fortunately, this is a major problem I have, and I need to work on it by listening to what the message content is beyond how it is being delivered. Next slide. We must strive to be more open and self-disclosing when we are speaking with others. Next slide. Plan of action. I plan to do many of the things I said in the other slides, and I also need to try to communicate better without letting anger and emotions get the best of me and engaging in the flat brain tango. Turn the page. Strengths and weaknesses. Excellent listening skills. Weaknesses. I need to work on my oral presentation skills. And business heads, how to study and rate it. Interpersonal skills very important, and listening skills very important for doing a business. So we all need to be aware of that. And in a school, in a college, students worked on improving interpersonal skills, and they were very happy with this and kept on emailing about the good results they got long after the class was over. Conclusion: skills can be worked on just as riding a bicycle or anything else. Thank you.